What's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today is the 20th. It is 50 years for NASA, and they're so stoked about this. We may have some technical difficulties. Richie from Boston starting off, but we should be good to go. We'll see what happens here. I think you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me in the chat? Give me a thumbs up. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? It looks like I'm not getting, no one's answering. Nobody's answering. Yes. Richie, can you hear me? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, so we had a live stream last Sunday at noontime, and it was a lot of people. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get Ark, Dave from Destiny's Lab, back on. He was nice enough to do that. We were going to do this at noontime, but it was just too hot. I mean, it's crazy hot right here, right now. Now, earlier we had a little bit of a delay. Can you hear me? Oh, we still got a delay.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, but you're answering me. You're answering me about 10 seconds after the fact. So do me a favor. Once again, tell people how you got into this entire Christian prophecy music rap thing. Like, what caused it? What made you decide that this was the best way for you to spread the message and have at it? Even if there's a 10-second delay, you should be good to go.
Okay, I appreciate it. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear here. Basically I've kind of come full circle from where what I used to believe and to what I believe now. I mean, I was actually raised in a Christian home, you know, going to church every Sunday, had a good foundation belief system, but I was always into weird kind of stuff like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and UFOs and aliens was like my main thing that I was into, even as a little kid. And I got into doing special effects makeup, and I moved from a small town in Oregon to LA when I turned 18. And when I moved there, I got deep into like the whole alien thing, studying aliens, kind of studying all the different abduction stories, things like that. And I was creating aliens at the same time. And so I wanted to make the most realistic alien I could and realistic creatures I could, because I was a sculptor. And I actually got in. I wanted this so bad, I actually wanted to get abducted myself, and started thinking, well, maybe these things are just angels in disguise. You know, I was trying to convince myself in some way that they were okay. But the more I started studying these abduction stories, the more I started seeing some connections and some things that made me really step back and question what this is all about. And I started running across researchers out there from a Christian perspective that were connecting this to the fallen angels, the Nephilim, and studying that type of stuff, getting deep into the study of the Nephilim, the fallen angels, and what the Bible says about them, and then studying the abduction scenarios. It just clicked. It just made full sense that these things are demonic. The main focus these entities seem to have during these abduction experiences is that you know, man is God, that you're evolving. You know, it's the same old lie of the serpent that they tell and they regurgitate over and over again. And so, long story short, I was always liked rap music, and I made rap music with my friends just for fun. And but I never set out to do it full time. I'm not like a big entertainer. I don't like to like get on stage and do all that necessarily, but I love creating rap and just doing it for fun with friends. So when I found all this stuff out and I got deep, like back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, and was studying the creation evolution debate and seeing that evolution was a big lie and seeing how it all connected to this stuff, I was like, somebody's got to be making music about this, because then I found out there was a genre called Christian rap as well that I didn't even know existed. And so I started buying all the Christian raps, really talking about this stuff. And if you're a hip hop fan, you know hip hop is just all about, you know, sometimes presenting something or telling a story, or almost like an argument. You know, they have rap battles and stuff like that, so you can almost like present a case for something. And so I just felt it was like a perfect platform for all of these things. And so back in the early 2000s, I contacted a buddy that I'd been making rap with years before, and I hadn't been doing any music for years actually. When I contacted him and I said, "Hey man, I want to get back into making music, and I want to create Christian rap based, create the alien deception, fallen angels, you know, all these things." And so we just started making music and started putting it out there, and God has just blessed us ever since, man, with you know, just spreading it with different people like you, using it in different documentaries, different YouTube channels. It's just been a blessing to use it as a link in the chain for people out there doing their own research and trying to find out what's going on with all this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're working on our 4th album right now. We've got 3 albums available on those 3 CDs for $25. So you get a pretty good deal for your bang for your buck with all those songs. And then this 4th album that we're coming out is going to have like 17 songs on it as well. So we'll hopefully have that out by the end of the year. So
that's phenomenal. Now, I know we got a little bit of a microphone problem. Your mic dropped out a touch, just a little bit here and there, and I think there's a delay, but we're going to work through that. It's all good. I grew up in the 80s listening to college music, and I heard Cypress Hill for the first time. And it amazes me how similar you guys sound to Cypress Hill. I've said that a million times, but then after you get over the fact that it's rap music and it sounds like Cypress Hill, the verses, it sounds like you're rapping videos that I've been making for years. It's amazing how you're bringing out the Nephilim, the fallen angels, technology is the secret backdoor, scrying mirrors, etc., etc. And I know you've worked with Nicholson 1968, and he is the absolute godfather of the transhuman, exposing the entire transhumanism thing before people even knew what it was. And I know you guys have rolled with him and done some serious collaborations, man. Is Nick awesome to work with?
Yeah, he's great, man. He's actually put together a couple videos for us. He made the Obsolete Man video, and then Shift Your Paradigm as well. So he made a couple of videos for us. And yeah, he's a real blessing, real great researcher. Known him for years. You know, it's been awesome to hook up with different people like him, and Awakened Saint. You know, he's amazing too, that we've been working with, doing some shows with him, and I know you've been listening to him as well, man. He's a cool guy. He's got some great stuff. And then Truth is Stranger Than Fiction is another researcher I've worked with that's done a video for us. So yeah, man, it's been great to kind of reach out there and work with these guys.
I can only imagine. I've known Nick for a long time, several years, and I'm proud to call him a friend. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anytime I decide to say something that might really piss people off that know the Bible really well, he's the first phone call I make to make sure that I'm not going to make myself look like an absolute fool. You know what I'm saying? And he usually has my back, so it's awesome. Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. I've had him on a long time ago. He does really good videos. He's just got a knack for it, man. But
yeah,
it seems that we are all on the same page, man. You know what I mean? And the one thing I really wanted to hear from, because I know you cover and I know you've studied this ad nauseum because you rap about it so in depth, is they can't stop us all. Let's all storm Area 51. Now, I've made a couple of videos on this. I know exactly what it is, or I have a pretty good idea. It's amazing that since the last time we spoke, I'm showing all the they can't stop us now memes. It went from 400,000 up to like 1.5 million. Hollywood's involved. The president's talking about it. It's on every mainstream. People need to understand that Area 51, even though it is a military base, it is mostly for private aircraft people, and they have their own private security forces with the absolute authority to kill somebody. So if something went down there, these guys could just open fire and it wouldn't even fall on the military. This is a perfect honey trap to get everybody. If they didn't want people knowing about this, they could do what they do to me, Nicholson, Call for an Uprising, any channel that's talking about God and truth. They just make sure nobody sees the videos. This stuff has gone completely worldwide, man. It's off the hook. What do you think of this, man? What are your thoughts on this, if any?
Yeah, it is crazy. They're actually they're more like promoting it, you know, where you know everything else they're censoring, anything that's fake news, supposed fake news, or something that's bad for people to do. They're trying to censor. So I don't know why'd they be promoting this so much, because like you said, they'll shoot to kill out there. And I think the last guy that really tried to seriously get in was actually shot, from what I hear.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And think about this. A bunch of, people that are basically, UFO believing people, and the people that I'm seeing, I'm not putting a blanket statement out there, but for the most part, these UFO people, there's a reason why China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Iraq, none of our so-called quote unquote enemies, there's a reason they haven't stormed Area 51, because it's a military base. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. That would be the ultimate revolution, right? That would make Kent State look like target practice. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Every time you turn around, somebody of importance, is talking about this. So they're not silencing it. There's a reason for this. And September 20th, September is their favorite time of the year to start screwing shit up. So this will work out perfectly, man. I never thought I'd see the day where this was a thing, but it sure is.
Oh, it's amazing, man. I mean, it's still, a couple months away here. So it's probably going to be like 5 million people or something. Just,
do you know what I'm saying? That's bigger than China. The way it stands right now, allegedly, I mean, if everybody's mom can give them a ride and everybody can actually make it all the way out there with no cell phone service, because Area 51, Groom Lake, is not a hospitable area. I've been there, and as soon as you get within 80 miles, you'll discover who the camo dudes are. You know what I'm saying? Because they make themselves known, as do the black helicopters and the sensors and every other thing that's out there. They're dying for something like this. This would, quote unquote, set it off.
I mean, it would be crazy. But I mean, the big thing is that people don't realize you would never get there in the first place. I mean, if that many people try to go to one place like that, that basically goes down to a 2-lane road and then to dirt roads,
right,
that you have to drive for, miles and miles. I mean, it would be just backed up for hundreds and hundreds of miles with traffic. And so if you've ever been to a concert, where they do prepare,
exactly,
they still have backed up traffic. I mean, you can imagine with something like this, you'd probably never get into it. So,
well, the other thing is that this is the perfect, and I hope myself and many other channels that pick this up, this is the perfect reason to finally and totally drop the hammer on social media. Like, look what happened. We let them say what they wanted on social media, and they revolted against the military. So we got to pull the plug. I mean, they've already pulled the plug. I got 340,000. I got 450,000 subscribers, and I'm lucky if I crack 20,000 views. That's ludicrous. Do you know what I'm saying? It's absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, that's exactly. It looks like a setup to me, where they're going to say, "Listen, we tried to play nice. We tried to let you tell your truths, etc. But here it is.
This is what happened."
Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's perfect.
Yeah. No, that
perfect.
makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So like I said, and then September being the timing.
Check it out. I got Time Magazine up. This is just completely by chance. But you see Raid, Area 51, see them aliens. And then the next thing that you see is their favorite weaponized term is conspiracy theorist. It's amazing, man. Totally amazing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So
they want to group it all together.
You got a mic. Tell me what you want to talk about, man. Break it out there. You want to talk about how Elon Musk has, myself, I used to have, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I used to have Anthony Patch, the CERN guy, on my channel 2-3 times a week. We did like a news roundup type show or whatever you'd call it. But back in 2016, we were talking about this neural lace, and he was talking about it, and it was it's a thing that much like the Matrix, you inject it. This is what they said back then. You inject it into your jugular vein, and it wraps a spider web-like web around your brain that's full of sensors, etc. They work with the synapses in your brain, and it basically makes you Neo. You want to learn Kung Fu? Download it, and you're on it. Well,
Yeah.
Here it is, 2019, July 20th, and it is all over the news because Elon's come out and people, they're saying that they're going to they've got a computer set up where the computer and the doctor can quickly install this into your brain with a surgical robot. And dude, you just run it off your iPhone like a regular old app. The implant would connect wirelessly to a small behind-the-ear receiver that would communicate with a computer.
Yep.
What could go wrong, dude?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're certainly not going to hijack it and turn us all into a bunch of completely, totally mindless robots. Not that we're not already pretty much there. What do you make of this, brother?
Yeah, dude. Once 5G becomes a thing and really gets worldwide as well, and then they implement things like this, the neural lace, and that's exactly how they're presented. I watched the whole presentation, and basically, I mean, they show exactly how they do it. And the machine that actually injects these little wires into your brain is literally looks like it's from a sci-fi movie. It looks like an episode of Black Mirror. It's crazy. And it literally chops a little hole out of your head like the size of a pencil eraser into your skull, and then this thing injects these wires into your brain, bypassing any thing that would mess you up, any veins and everything. They showed exactly how they do that, and it literally reacts to the synapses in your brain to where your brain has electrical impulses, and so it can memorize or target the ways these synapses work, and literally supposedly help, like you said, download Kung Fu.
Now, I can't help but notice I've got an image of the machine that does it.
That's it. Yeah.
And I can't help but notice that it's called *Tech, and if you turn those letters around, it's basically called *Fuck It*. Because you see it right there? Change the T and the K around, and you got *Fuck It*. Because you know, hey, you gonna get the neural lace? Fuck it, I'm getting one.
Yeah, blatant. Yeah, it's just like it's that idiot. What was that movie?
Idiocracy. We're there,
it's come real.
It's absolutely amazing, man. They do this stuff all the time. They can't stop doing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's unbelievable. But it's unbelievable. I mean, people will be lining up for this, especially, they present it as something to help the, handicapped people that can't see or have these issues. And that's how they get their funding. And then, but the real target thing is to make superhumans, to create this hive mind where people are just, thinking each other's thoughts and then downloading it all into the hive mind. And this hive mind will be the AI Antichrist, in my opinion. Are going to set it up to be worshipped as God.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. I mean, I don't know if you caught this, but I was just talking about this today. I live on an island. All right. So there aren't many people here. There's only one way in. There's only one way out. If anything goes on around here, people see it. There's only 2,000 people here. So it's a small community for the most part. I'm basically the biggest asshole on the island. Everybody knows who I am, what I do. I'm the guy that made videos when the military rolled in because we had a storm coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to rain. We better bring in the military. They don't like it. So there's that. But out of the blue, directly across the street and behind my house, I woke up one day and there was 2 5G transponders on the telephone poles, and both of them have the 360-degree camera underneath. So I made a video about it. The very next day, the mainstream news was standing in the same exact spot making a video about the exact same thing, except telling everybody how awesome it was.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
My main concern was, where did these come from? Who put these up? How are people putting things on telephone poles on both sides of my house? And I never saw them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is no joke. They're like, oh, it's for the harbor master. Dude, they're pointing at a building. The harbor master doesn't need to see into a 3-decker building. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to drown in there, I don't think. But I digress.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're going to be having cameras up everywhere. I mean, that's the whole goal, is no secrecy. They want a world without secrets, because that's the only way that you can actually control, the possibilities of information that's been released out there. I mean, people right now, there's so much at your fingertips, is that people can set up a home lab, for instance, and create like viruses. They could like do all kinds of things in a home lab, and it's going to get more and more like that, to the point where and people's identities are going to be stolen. All this kind of stuff is going to lead to the point where they're going to say, we need a transparent society. We need a society where there are no secrets, where everybody knows what everybody's doing. And that way everyone can be safe, and anybody that's breaking the law will be exposed.
And the funny thing is on its face, and to most people, the people that are like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to fear, because they're not seeing the big picture.
Exactly.
On its face, what you just said in a real world would be okay, except the problem is the people that are instituting this are the ones with the harmful secrets, and are the ones that are covering things up. And those secrets will never come out to the forefront. They just want to make sure that nobody's actually getting any closer to exposing them. Nothing more, nothing less. I find it, what did you think when you first saw this? You know what I'm saying? YouTube tweaks the algorithm to fight 9/11 truthers and flat earth. Now, 9/11 happened. So for them to block that, I guess that makes sense. You know what I mean? 9/11 was a national tragedy, and everybody's very upset. They don't want anybody talking about that. But I found it very strange that they're saying they want to tweak the YouTube algorithm to fight 9/11 truthers and flat earthers. Because if the earth isn't flat, then who cares?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was the two main topics that they picked, was 9/11 and flat earthers.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing they do with creationism. It's like let's debate the issue. No, we can't debate it. They literally will not debate creationism on campuses anymore. 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍, I don't know if you've ever heard watching those 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍 videos where he just like
all of his videos.
Yeah, he just owns people left and right, one after another. And so they just basically put out a mass campaign. Do not, people are being confused. The children are being confused. Stop debating this issue. It's not up for debate. And now they will not debate it. So it's just the same thing, just censoring truth.
The thing is
and even if it isn't truth, it's censoring something. Why would you censor something if it's not true? Why wouldn't you just laugh at it?
Well, that's
let people do what they want to do.
That's the thing. In a real world, like, how about this for an example? I hope this is a good one. I have people that email me all the time. Oh my, Richie, you're not going to believe this. Some dude is making a video calling you all sorts. You need to respond. And it's like, well, I could respond, but if I started responding about all the videos that have been made about me over the years, that's all I would do. What I like to think is it's bullshit. And people, the truth stands on its own. So if people were talking about the flat earth and it was so absolutely ridiculous, why would they care?
Yeah, exactly.
The mainstream mentions flat earth more than anybody I've ever heard in my life. It's amazing how often they bring up these quote unquote conspiracy theories. And then, you must have noticed this in the last couple of years, all these theories are starting just to become news. Geoengineering, that's a thing now.
Yep. No, I think they want to just group it all together. The more they can muddy the waters. If you were doing research 10, 15 years ago, it was much easier because there wasn't so much like muddying of the waters, disinformation of stuff that like is just made up. And now if you look up Nephilim, like everything on there, half the stuff that comes up are all these fake pictures of bones, all this fake stuff over and over and over again. So it makes anybody feel like, oh, if you believe in Nephilim, obviously you believe this fake stuff,
Right.
And they do that with any type of thing out there that it's a conspiracy to research. And so, and some of the stuff is totally fake. It's like the mud fossils groups and the dinosaurs aren't real groups. Those groups, if you trace them back, were literally created by atheists. They like literally made those groups up as a joke to, I guess trick people to believe it, and some people fall for it. So I mean, we got to be careful.
To be honest, people fall for that. Like, it's unbelievable how badly people fall for that. Some channels that I came up with are on that, like dinosaurs weren't real. I believe dinosaurs are completely real because I know people that live out west that have been digging up their backyard and they find a giant bone that's bigger than them, and it's like we find them all the time.
I mean, they definitely didn't create a lot of fake dinosaurs though in the museums, and they have to recreate half the bones because they only find some of the bones they have to recreate. I mean, being in that's what I do, is mold making, casting, and sculpting. So I'm very aware of how that stuff works, and you can tell when it's a real bone and when it's a fake, and a lot of the stuff that they have up there is fake, but that doesn't equate to dinosaurs aren't real,
Right. In my opinion, I mean, this is completely my opinion. I think that dinosaurs were just more genetic tampering that the Nephilim did. Do you know what I'm saying? To make everything into horrific, horrible monstrosities to piss God off. And I think it worked.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. That's a really interesting possibility because, in the book, Enoch does talk that they interbred not only with humans, but the animals, and even we're messing with manipulating plants and everything, anything that had life.
Anything that had life, the birds in the air, the fish in the sea. And the amazing thing is, I mean, these people that are following this mud fossil thing, I mean, I've already made a video on it a long time ago saying, listen, just so you know, this is all nonsense. It's to distract you from what's real.
Yeah.
There is so much. I mean, I found 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍 and Graham Hancock and all these other guys because I really wanted to find proof to back up the Bible. And it's amazing. Lot's wife turning into a pillar of sand, it's still standing. Yeah. Sodom and Gomorrah getting nuked by stuff that we can't recreate. It's all over the place. They found it.
Yeah.
The stone that Moses hit with his staff to bring water forth. There's a military base. There's a bunch of dudes with machine guns, and there's barbed wire around it. These places are real.
Yeah.
Noah's Ark.
Totally.
Noah's Ark. They know right where it is, man. They know right where it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could have the proof right in front of people, and they still will deny it. They're willingly ignorant, and so that's what's so amazing is the Bible is all the proof we really need. But we have all this other stuff, all this extra stuff that all you need to do is open your eyes and do a little research, have an open mind, and it's overwhelming. But just like the Bible says, they remain willingly ignorant. They're dumb on purpose.
I put up a video yesterday, and I showed just a few examples of how many military and private organizations there are that are that their job is to sit there all day long and throw out false information. I showed, I mean, you could literally sit here all day long and show how many different organizations are kicking out. It's their job. Army, social media, psyops. I'm showing it right now. I mean, it's unbelievable, dude. A channel pops up 11 months ago, starts making videos about me, you, Nicholson, and they're getting 250,000 views in their first couple of months. That's a huge harbinger right there. That's telling you who they are.
Yeah. There's money behind it. Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy money. Like, I don't know if you heard about this or not, but have you heard about that Donald Trump has taken control of the chemtrails, and he's now spraying the skies with vitamins to bring us all back up. Dude, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. The guy's getting 300,000 views in just a matter of days. He's telling people he's using gematria to decode the tweets that Donald Trump's putting out, and he's drawn the conclusion that Donald Trump, the chemtrails, are now vitamins and minerals for all of us. That's real, dude.
Incredible. And
people are buying it hook, line, and sinker. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's like the crazier you make it, the more people buy into it. I think there is a certain amount of people that they're just want to jump on any bandwagon, and I have to vet things because what's that?
It's hope. People don't. Some people,
Yeah.
you know, they claim that they're wrapped in the full armor. They understand that this all has to come, but they still want to watch their grandkids grow up. They still want life to go on. So anything that shows them any glimmer of hope, they'll grab it. And I understand it. That's the human condition. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, exactly right. And I think that's why we need to be more rooted in the Word of God. And rooted in the Word of God, the more you realize we have nothing to fear. That's the hope right there. The hope is in the Word of God. And when you understand that, and you know, the God's in control, and a lot of the stuff that seems scary is part of a plan. Just like we go through life, and times we go through things that are scary or seem crazy, but in the end, you know, you look back and like, I'm kind of glad that happened because it got me to here. You know, I think God kind of works the same way sometimes and allows. All you got to do is look at the stories of the Bible and the people he uses in the Bible and in the situations. And it's not what you would think all the time. He likes to go pick people out that you'd never anticipate and make them the heroes of the Bible. And they're not these people we see representing Christianity in the mainstream.
Right. It sounds like you're sharpening a popsicle stick on the concrete. Am I accurate? Am I close? Or are you working?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Is that you're getting background noise or something?
A little bit. It sounds like you're carving something.
No, I'm just sitting here. That's weird.
That is really strange. I wonder if I'm doing it by accident. It stopped. It completely stopped.
Okay, I have a hanging mic here, so maybe that was hitting my shirt there.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. It's no biggie. Let me, I want to grab a couple of questions. Anybody got a question for Ark while I have him here? I'm looking right at the chat right now. Destiny's Lab are awesome. Anyone like AB Soul or Daylight? I don't know what that means. No more Kool-Aid. All right. I'm looking. Yeah, dude, healthy chemtrails. That really blew me away. And a lot of people asked me to, like, hey, can you kind of shine a light on this? I don't like going after other channels, but this is the one. I'm showing it right now. It's called And We Know. And he's saying that between Q, the Kabbalah, Gematria, and Trump, he's decided or figured out that they have taken the chemtrails away and they're literally spraying the skies with things to bring us all back to good health again. And I found it funny because I found a couple of other channels that were saying things like this, and every one of them popped up 11 months ago, and every one of them has about 200,000 subscribers. 11 months is not enough time to get 200,000 subs. It takes a long time. And once if you really start hitting on all cylinders, YouTube just shuts you down. All of us know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of us know that. But
Except for the disinfo.
Are you seeing this right now?
Wow.
We're winning. Trump now controls the chemtrails. Part 2, 280,000 views. That's
look at his wording. I mean, you could tell this guy has no idea what he's talking about. This is how species like the Nephilims entered our dimensions.
That's right.
I mean, it's like the way he's phrasing that. I mean, species like the Nephilims. I mean, the Nephilim were the offspring of the fallen angels, and now they are basically demons. But I don't know if he knows. I mean, when you hear some people talk about these kinds of things, but they really don't have a biblical understanding, you can kind of tell by the wording they use. And
indeed. And then, I mean, I just put up about 15 quick examples of $1 million troll armies. Every branch of the military has it. Every branch of the alphabet agency has it. Every country has it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's rampant, and they turned their sights on us. I'm going to say about 2 years ago. And then, I mean, it's really started to come heavy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody gets 280,000 views. You don't get 280 anymore unless you already have 3 million subscribers. It just ain't happening. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me ask you real quick. I'm looking at Destiny's Lab's music videos. What was your favorite video? I see Robophobia. What was your favorite video to make, and like, what was the significance to you? Because your music's sick, dude. I blew 2 speakers. I have Polk speakers in my truck, And my favorite song is Unseen Zone. Is that it? Am I saying it right? Unseen Zones.
Unseen Zones, yeah.
And Ezekiel's Wheel, because I saw something very similar to what could be described as Ezekiel's Wheel in the sky. I don't think I can play this because it's gonna bounce back, and the video is unavailable. Who has blocked it on copyright grounds?
Yeah, I just actually got a copyright block on this today, so
Me
I'm
too.
looking into that right now.
Me too. I used a little bit of your video yesterday, and I got a copyright strike today.
Yeah, I get copyright strikes against myself, but yeah, I'd say like probably 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍 is a good one, but I also like Obsolete Man is a pretty good one. That's one that Nicholson 1968 did that kind of uses some clips from the Twilight Zone that inspired that song.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good one.
Well, I'm looking at 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍. What did you think when you saw Westworld come out? I mean, was that flagrant or what?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's another example. I mean, everything on TV right now, if you watch just commercials, every commercial out there, it seems like has some sort of robot human interface. It's either robots and humans or weak men,
right?
Being, made fun of by, or looking like wimps,
right?
Demasculinization of men, one or the other.
It's funny too, because I think I mentioned this in a video like last week or whatever, or I meant to. But I have a lot of subscribers in Russia, the Ukraine, Scotland, so forth and so on. And they send me things and they're like, dude, the stuff that they're pushing on you guys in the States, we're not even seeing it here. You know what I mean? Like the absolutely all-encompassing LGBTQ agenda. You would think that minority of people was the majority. When it's the tiniest percentage, you would think, by the way, it's taken over everything. And apparently in other countries, they're not pushing it like this. It's just strictly on America, because I could be completely wrong. I think the gun behind every blade of grass still rings in their head. And if they can demasculinate the country completely and keep everybody, eating GMOs, drinking fluoride, and not paying attention, they can do whatever they want. They don't even need martial law. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, it starts in the schools. That's why they were so much about pushing education over the last 20 years. Education. Everybody needs a college education, AKA everybody needs to go get brainwashed and become, a extreme liberal and study nonsense, classes and become in debt and go to classes you're never going to use in your life. So it's like, that's what's happening, I think, to our whole society is the kids have been brainwashed, and it's mostly in these big cities. When I tell people I'm from Oregon, they automatically assume, oh my gosh, you must have all kinds of people riding in the streets or whatever. Well, I'm far eastern Oregon. I'm like right on the Idaho border, and all the nonsense is going on the other side of the state. We don't see any of that here where I'm from. It's very conservative where I'm from, and there aren't any people, Antifa members in the streets or anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm about an hour from Boise, and you don't see that in Boise.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. We're not seeing. I live in Boston. They recently took away people's abilities to own a AR-15, and nobody said anything about it. But they also used us as a beta test with the Boston Marathon bombing. And I don't know if you remember that, but after they completely locked this place down for days, went door to door, taking mothers, holding their children, etc., out at the point of a weapon, looking for two teenage boys, allegedly. People clapped and cheered as the military rolled out. You know what I'm saying? They were like, yeah, we got this place. This will be easy. No big deal. They
just have to have the right reasoning behind it.
That's it.
Scary.
And I mean, the fact that they're even pushing this technology right now, the neural lace, like I thought maybe it had died down and maybe it had went away, but it's back, and it's back with a vengeance. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to a human ever. And people are going to line up for this. They're going to line up for this. They're going to make design. Like, we can give you a neon green set of sensors in your head that'll light up at night, and people, that'll be attractive. And people will be like, yeah, I'm getting that. and it runs off an iPhone app. What could go wrong, man?
Yeah. No, the first step is integrating. They said the first step is integrating your phone, keyboard connections, and computer, networking with the TVs, things like that. So you can just think about something and control your phone, control your mouse on your computer, all these types of things. And I think that's the first step. They'll just see it. Well, this is just very basic. It's really easy to do. It's very cheap. It's just like getting LASIK surgery. It's all through incentives. And then if you do it, you'll get discounts to this thing and the other. If you use these certain apps, they'll just incentivize it to the point where people will just be lining up for it. That's how I think the Mark of the Beast is going to work. It's not going to be forced on people. People are going to be lining up for it, and it's going to have so many incentives in place. And you're also going to be made fun of if you don't have it, or looked at like if you're not using CRISPR to manipulate the DNA of your child. That's child abuse. You're not going to make sure your children doesn't have diseases and aren't predisposed to all these problems later in life. That's child abuse. You have to use CRISPR.
And again, it's like a huge joke on everybody that this show, Black Mirror, a scrying mirror, they're showing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they already showed what you just said in it. Like somebody didn't have this. They didn't have this, updated memory where they could rewind all their, their day, their thoughts, their memories, and people were laughing at them. You know what I mean? They're like, that's insane. You can easily see how that would happen in society right now. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the big thing that is keeping things like augmented reality from becoming a reality is having to wear a big headset or glasses. Once they implement this in somebody's brain, and everything you see can be however you wish it to be, and it just overlays your reality and becomes like a cartoon world, or anybody you look at, they could do. I heard this thing where they're saying the first thing they want to do is push the nude app, where basically you create augmented reality. Everything you look at, every human has a virtual overlay of actually being nude. And so you could just be walking around and everybody would look naked and they wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, that's not in America. Not in America. I don't want to see everybody naked, man. I don't. I live across from the ocean, dude. True. I see people in bathing. Don't shame me. Listen, I'm not shaming you. But the whole point of going to the beach is people work hard on their bodies. To me, the lamest thing to look at is a really badly in shape human body. It's just lame.
There's a lot of them.
Dude, they're absolutely everywhere. There should be I don't know. You should have to pull a permit, but whatever. So
they'll probably be able to buy like, an app, or buy like overlays to make you look at whatever you want. So if you want to look like a, super hot model or some dragon bean or whatever you want to look at, you can become that.
So real quick, what do you think about this? What do you think? What do you have a prediction on this? They can't stop us all, after I've already shown you that the camo dudes, all these guys are private security, much like Blackwater used to be. This is the perfect setup because, oh my goodness, we have no control over it. These guys were just doing their jobs. Do you know what I'm saying?
It seems like a perfect setup, like you said, to use this against social media in some way, or censor even more things in some way, or look at a way, anybody that talks about anything that is off the wall, we've got to, somehow block it, because otherwise people are going to get shot and killed. It's kind of like what they did with the whole Comet Pizza thing.
Yes.
Once somebody came there with the gun, it's gone. It's instantly just erased.
This one is like on steroids, though. Look at the time frame.
And they're promoting it
all the time.
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are
T-shirts.
That's all they do is completely shut you down. Hey, Richie, I put out a new video today. Well, yeah, but I was unsubscribed from you today. They can do that. They've got an algorithm and an app for that. But look at this. All famous people are jumping in on this. They can't stop talking about it. It has to be a trap. It has to be.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Something's going to be happening. I mean, I'm sure they're going to try to like make it a big thing, you know, do not go here, but there's going to be people that go there.
You know, like you said before, you wanted to see an alien. This may just be it. They might kick over the whole can. They might kick over the whole can, brother, and let the genie out of the bottle.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. They'll be like, well, yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Let's go ahead and just like we're going to live stream the release of what we have here.
Right, and I mean it makes sense because ever since they came out, you know, they came out with a soft disclosure of chemtrails, but they still did it nonetheless. It was in, I mean, I've shown at least 100 different, you know, Science Live, science.org, physics.org, Harvard Magazine, blah, blah, blah. They've shown it. And I pondered aloud many times. They've been denying this for years. Why suddenly bring it up? And then I kind of thought, well, maybe because they're going to start spraying so bad for whatever reason that just in case people notice it, they'll say, dude, we told you we were spraying. It's to save you from global warming. We're going to bounce the sun back into outer space and save everyone from global warming. Yeah. Or they're making the ultimate 3D movie screen in the sky, and it all ties together with this, and it's going to be one huge ritual and one huge mind F. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential here, brother.
No, exactly. I mean, they could, create like holographic images. They could be preparing for, complete weather manipulation.
Hold on. One of my buddies caught this in the sky last night. Is Mike Decker YouTube channel. He's another dude that watches the sky all the time. And he caught this last night. I'm going to show it to you. I originally thought it was Saturn, but he's out in your area, dude. And he's right out in Oregon, I believe. He caught this in the sky last night. You seeing that?
Yeah. Wow, it looks like a miniature lightning bolt.
That's really strange, but he said it was cruising right along. And he's got a Nikon P900, and he's really good with it. This dude zooms right in on the spray nozzles on airplanes. When he originally showed this, that looked like Saturn to me. But then it completely changes shape, and it's out in your neck of the woods. So just keep that in mind. They might be testing the holographic stuff and the hardware, which we do know they have patents for. It's not really a big secret anymore, but
interesting. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Also, the timing of the whole Bob Lazar documentary being released. I mean, Bob Lazar has been around since like the 80s. And I remember listening to that guy or reading his stuff way, way back when. And then all of a sudden, he's just everywhere. He's on every channel getting interviewed by Joe Rogan, and I think that's what started this whole Area 51 fiasco to begin with, is because that documentary was just released. And the documentary is very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, Rogan. I used to listen to Rogan all the time. I just talked about this the other day. I used to listen to him, Grant Hancock, and I literally actually paid to go to Foxwoods and watch Neil deGrasse Tyson speak. I'm talking like 8 years ago. And all of that came crashing down when Rogan suddenly just completely flipped the script, and he asked Tyson about chemtrails, and he's like, "Oh, I've never heard of them." Dude, I'm an asshole with a laptop in Boston, and you're a theoretical physicist, and you've never even heard of chemtrails. When they denied it, I knew it was a wrap. But long story short, they appear to be using Rogan for so many reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's got a good audience, and I didn't realize he was the one that actually started this, but it makes perfect sense to me, man.
Yeah. No, sometimes I'll listen. I think it's good information. It's like being a fly on the wall on what these people are planning and what they're thinking. And he has a lot of people in there that talk about transhumanism and all this stuff. And so it's interesting the way they're disseminating this information and externalizing the hierarchy.
Right. I don't know how often you've listened to me, but I have issues. So if I start listening to someone, I'll get all upset and then make a video, and then there's all sorts of problems. So I try to listen to people that I know are legit, and I have a hard time it's like, hey, take my advice. I'm not using it. I tell people all the time, take what you can and leave the rest. And I never actually do it, and I get all upset. So I don't even listen to Rogan anymore. I did listen to him when he reintroduced Alex Jones again. which was,
yeah,
I've been scrubbed from the internet. Well, you're on Joe Rogan right now getting millions and millions and millions of views. And as a matter of fact, Joe even said, Alex, you were getting ready to shut this all down anyway. And he's like, yes, I was. And I'm like, well, isn't that convenient?
Yeah, good timing, perfect timing.
Right. Make 20, 30, 50 million dollars and then roll out,
A lot of free advertising.
Unbelievable. All right, brother. I'm gonna crank up the fan because it is ridiculously hot. Is there anything in here you want to cover, man? Because the mic is yours. Hit it, man.
No, man. I think it is. It's just crazy what's happening. It's happening so fast too. I mean, that's the thing that people need to understand about technology is the idea of things growing exponentially. And there's a big difference from the curve of how technology is growing in the past compared to what's happening right now. And this stuff is going to just erupt. It's going to be on the scene as if it's overnight. And so I think, you think time feels like it's been speeding up. Just wait till they really start introducing this stuff out, start making laws, start really, and people start lining up to actually have these things done. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg, and it's going to be very important to be well grounded over these next few years, and be prepared in all ways. Not only spiritually but also physically, both. Spiritually is most important because this life we may live 100 years, but that's a blink of an eye compared to eternity. So
right. I try to stress that a lot, man, that this is just a blink. I don't know why we're here in this bodily form right now. I've always assumed it was to get something that we can't get in the spiritual, but we're energy and we don't die. For all of those people that have kids and grandkids, I'll tell you what, Destiny's Lab, it may not be your cup of tea, but it's amazing how these guys are rapping the Bible and basically rapping things that I'm talking about, Nicholson's talking about, Face Like the Sun, True Stream Media, like they nail it. Like this, the amount of studying you've done is self-evident when you listen to the lyrics. It's phenomenal, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was stoked to have you on the other day. And when I knew you couldn't make it tomorrow, I'm like, okay, let's do Saturday then. I very rarely live stream, brother.
I really appreciate it, bro.
No, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
The support is really appreciated. So, yeah, I mean, that's just it. I think there's a lot of people out there. You want to tell people this information. You want to relay what you've learned to people. But a lot of times they just won't listen to you. But maybe they will listen to a song, a 3-minute song. And that's a lot of times what I want people to use the music for is it supports people that are already into the truth movement and researching these things. It gives you support. It makes you feel better. There's other people out there that know this stuff, but it also provides a tool to use when presenting this information to other people. So it can be a real link in the chain to get people to then research deeper and deeper, because that's the key. Is you can't convince somebody that God exists and that all these things are happening. They have to research it for themselves and figure it out for themselves. And so we've got to spark their brain or somehow get them interested enough that they can take the next step and want to research into this stuff, because and a lot of times a song will do that with the lyrics. It'll spark just what that person needs who's been sitting on the fence. So I appreciate it, man.
Oh, dude, seriously, I grew up on this stuff, and when I really, really, really started trying to put on the full armor of God as it's laid out, there's some certain things you got to do. And music was one of the things I let go, and it bothered me because I love music. I love movies. I love television. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies, but I do listen to ODD's music. I do listen to yours, and it's phenomenal. And like I said, if it's another way to reach a younger generation, we need everything. We need every piece of armor, every piece of equipment we possibly can, because the enemy is using everything at all times. And apparently it's going to get worse and worse. Yeah. And soon, one of these days, any one of these days, people are going to wake up, and things like what we're doing right now, they're not going to be available anymore. And I firmly believe that that's what this entire thing right here is going to do. Hey, we gave them the internet and they stormed the military base. That is national security. Can't have it. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Totally. It makes sense, man. I mean, we're living in interesting times, and I think it's going to be a short snippet where we have the freedoms we have.
all right, let me just check the chat real quick. Anybody have a question they want to ask Ark while I got him here? I am looking. A lot of positive stuff here, brother. People are digging you. So all the links will be in the comment section after the live stream is up, which will be in like half an hour. Nasser is celebrating away. Mimi Praise has the wrench. She's one of my favorite people ever. Sword of the Spirit equals the Word of God. Military job is to destroy his God creation. I know. I hear you. Okay. I'm just Groot, or I'm sorry, it's just Groot said, when did you wake up?
Me? It would have been in the early 90s, so probably about 94,
What?
95. Yeah.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 48 years old, dude.
So you've been awake almost twice as long as I have.
I'm an old man. Now, we started Destiny
I got
Lab.
3 years on
you. Yeah. We started Destiny Lab in 2004, but I was making Christian-based music about this stuff in like 99. But during the early 90s is when I was studying all this stuff, watching all the 𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐍 videos. My parents have them on VHS, both him and Chuck Missler. Those are my big go-to guys back in the day.
Chuck was no joke. I still put his videos up to this day. Hey, I don't know. I'm gonna ask you this. If you don't want to, it's all good. But I'm not really here. Excuse me. Left a comment saying I live in Boise. If you want to meet up, I am fairly certain if people want to get a hold of you, they can hook up with you through the Destiny's Lab website. Correct?
Yeah, destinylab.com.
Yep, that'll be in the. I'll put that in the comments, so they'll have that as well as the YouTube channel, the podcast, etc. Okay, let me see. Yeah, Chuck Missler's phenomenal because somebody told me I got a flurry of comments or emails the other day saying, Richie, you're leading a cult. The Bible isn't real. It's completely a copy of a Freemasonic book. And first thing I did is put up Chuck Missler's video, why the Bible's real. You know what I mean? Because he can say it way better than I can. Ron Checkelson, be careful of that one. Text may have been good, but just be cautious. All right. All right, guys. I guess that is it. Ark, I appreciate you making the time for me, man. The microphone straightened itself out. Richie from Boston, Ark from Destiny's Lab. Links will be in the comments. People hit that thumbs up. Not that it makes any bit of difference. And we are out. I appreciate your time again, brother.
You too, man. God bless.
All right. Later, guys.